I was working one summer at an organization, and so I had the orientation and mobility instructor from the CNIB come in and show me around the office, show me where the elevator was in relation to my cubicle and the washroom and all of that stuff. So we were just checking out the washroom where that was, and this lady walks by and she's like, "Oh, there's no flies on you. You can get to the washroom." And I'm kind of like, wow, I can do a whole lot more than just get to the washroom, but if that's all I need to do to impress you, then that just made my day. My name is Holly Bartlett, and I'm 30 years old, and I live in Halifax, Nova Scotia. When I was born, I had an eye condition called microphthalmia, which in layman's terms means small eyes. So basically, from a genetic perspective, my eyes just didn't develop enough before I was born. I wasn't premature. And the result, of course, is that I haven't been able to see perfectly. I had considerably better vision when I was younger, but between the ages of 12 and 13, I lost quite a bit of vision to the point where I had light perception and some color, so I could tell what color my clothes were, might have been able to tell what other people's clothes were if they were close enough. And I could tell definitely if the light was on or off, or if there were windows or no windows, that type of thing. And then probably in the last 2.5 years, what vision I did have, I've lost. So sometimes I think I might be able to see a bit of light, but it's not enough to really guarantee that I can, so I pretty much just go about my business as if I can't see it. When I lost my vision around the age of 13, that was a rather traumatic experience, but everything at 13 is traumatic. Everybody wants to be just like everybody else, and clearly that was not going to be my option. So I was rather angry at the time. But I was really lucky. I had a couple of good opportunities to meet other people who were blind and visually impaired, and it gave me some inspiration to know that there were quote-unquote normal blind people around, so I didn't have to worry about that too much. And those friendships have been really helpful throughout my life, even though I may not have kept in touch with all of those people. Andrew and I, my roommate Andrew, we met when we were both, technically speaking, we met way back in elementary school.
I guess technically we met back in elementary school. I don't really know if that counts, though.
I mean, I was in grade 6. You don't talk to people who are in grade 5. It just doesn't go that way.
It was more so through high school. Holly's a year older than me, so I was in grade 10 at Prince Andrew, and then she would have been in grade 11. We just kind of met, and there was the disability thing in common. For different reasons, we both ended up on the same bus to school, and so we established a friendship, and we've been friends ever since, and that's pretty much how it went. I think it's hard sometimes to tell whether they're necessarily looking at Holly, or they're looking at me in the chair, or if they're looking at the combination of Holly's cane and my wheelchair at the same time. So from that sense, then yeah, I do think people look, but I think Holly's used to it, and I think I'm used to it. I think that it just becomes something that you're sort of natural with, and you're just kind of, after a while, you learn to accept it, really.
I work with a regular PC, and it is just your regular programs, so Microsoft Office and that type of thing. But what I do have is screen reading software called JAWS, which is Job Access with Speech. And what it does basically is interfaces with most mainstream software programs so that I can operate with them. So it works with Word, Excel, to some degree, Access. The course that I'm actually taking is macroeconomics. So what will come up on the screen now in a second is the first chapter in my textbook. So what the computer first does is it tells me the title of the document that's just opened. I know for a lot of people who are coming through the school system behind me, Braille literacy is a little bit more of an issue, where there's a lot of support A lot of proponents who want to support the concept of keeping Braille and the use of Braille alive and well, but it's expensive to do that. When I was in my undergraduate degree, I wanted to take 2 courses, and they were both, I wanted both of the textbooks in Braille, and it would have cost $10,000 at that time to have both books done. So that is also a pretty big chunk of change, and although there is different grants and so on, different ways that you can get that paid for, it's still a lot of money for one book for one course when you're doing a 4-year degree. I, as a kid, chose to focus a lot more on academics because social things were a little bit more difficult, either because of other people's reactions to me, or there's a lot of non-verbal stuff that happens in social interactions, and it's difficult to deal with that sometimes. So at 13 or 14, it was, I can struggle with social stuff or I can study and be smart. So I chose to study and be smart. But now there's more to life than just books.
She's very intelligent. Like she can definitely carry a conversation quite well. So that's one thing that some people maybe don't really give her the chance sometimes if they don't really talk to her.
Right now I'm working full-time for the government in Nova Scotia, and I am completing part-time my master's in public administration. So I'm taking 1 class at the moment, which is 2 nights a week. There's a regular class and then a tutorial. I also am involved with Toastmasters. I volunteer on a board for a nonprofit organization, so we meet monthly. Our board meetings are monthly. I am involved with swing dance, which just started in January. And in the fall and spring, I'm involved with horseback riding. We had a gentleman join our Toastmasters group for a couple of months in the fall, and he invited me along to swing dance, and I decided, well, what the heck, I'll go and give it a try. And I really enjoyed it. This person took the time to actually show me how to do some of the moves in advance, which really helped because a lot of the way that they teach dance, now that I figured it out, is very visual. So when I decided to, and I started taking lessons in January, there were some awkward moments because people weren't sure how to help me. And I wasn't really sure how I needed to be helped because it was all new to me. And I guess the other thing is I wasn't exactly walking around with my cane, waving it around and dancing with it. So some people didn't even know that I couldn't see until all of a sudden I'm right in front of them. That wasn't so bad. I think that the biggest thing that I face and that I have absolutely no control over is other people's assumptions about me and other people's feelings and insecurities around that. I really try to be understanding about it, and it can be challenging, particularly if I'm putting myself out there and making myself a little bit more pushing myself outside of a comfort zone. That makes you a little bit more vulnerable. So you are a little bit more sensitive to how people react to you. So I guess if people could be a little bit more aware of their own place and headspace, that would be really helpful.